Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hero Movie Podcast, your greatest source for superhero movie and TV discussion in the multiverse. I'm your host, Adam Porters, and joining me today, he packed the appropriate amount of heat, Sweet Sean's a Kovacs from the internet.
I don't know how appropriate, it's just what I brought.
And just like the old dude with that robot arm voiced by George Costanza, he's not in this episode either. Bruce Leslie.
Even though it was his suggestion, thanks, Bruce.
Yeah, exactly.
At least this isn't something where like, well, you know, I took a gondola ride with this guy and so we're friends now. And now this is like my buddy's movie. Like, you know, he's done that a couple of times on the show. And at least it's like, you know, like a fun show. And
I'll be off of that show. And you better not be saying anything bad about my friend, lest the word gets back to me. I was like, no. That's not how this works. No, sorry, Bob. But welcome back, everybody. This week, we're talking about the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special available on HBO. We voted in Patreon last week and everything, and it was a very tight race, and this was in second place, and it was out there, and we figure, hey, we might as well go ahead and hit that bad boy. So,
which makes me ask the question, are there people who are like watching this week to week? I would imagine so if if it was that close a race, you know, like let us know, because this is one of those shows where it seems like the people who like the show love the show, you know, it's like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it also has that feel to it. Just the show itself is that way, you know, like it lends itself. It's like, you know, like like Doug Stanhope fans are voracious about Doug Stanhope, and that's probably kind of what this show's fans are like too, I'm wondering.
Yeah. If you're a regular listener and kind of think that we should go back, because what I was surprised about, because I was looking in the initial get there on HBO and everything, and I didn't realize that this was just like the last episode of their season here. This was just their kind of season ender and everything.
Yeah, episode 11 in season 3.
So I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool that because they didn't have to necessarily do it as like kind of a standalone special or anything. And I liked when cartoons and stuff did that back in the day. And we've covered a couple of those with literally everything from Valentine's Day to Christmas and all that kind of stuff. We need some more of those Christmas ones.
I can remember that Frost Fight show that we did that one. I don't even remember. I only remember it being called Frost Fight and me being bored out of my tit.
What are you talking about? Captain America? I don't even know if Captain America. I don't remember what was in that, but it was.
See,
it was
this. See, this is the bang
ever.
I get. This is the bang I get from you guys that I hate cartoons. I don't hate cartoons. I don't hate animated. I hate bad animated, like Frost Fight. like this is fine. Like Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special. I can watch this all day. Like you're never going to hear me complain about it.
Keep that in mind before the end review here and everything. But before we get to all that, we do want to say a big thank you to the people who support us over at patreon.com/HMP. Those intrepid people get the pre-show, post-show, and Dinger Zone. We are continuing on our March Madness and Dinger Zone. I'm not even going to tell you what happened. I'm not going to tell you, because you got to go on Patreon for that to find out who won. Because one of us already advanced to the next round. And the next round,
Shawzy v. Adam Portress.
It was quite the showdown. A lot of tears were shed, but we got there eventually. And you know what?
I got to tell you, man. I know I said it on Patreon, and I will say it again here on the non-Patreon. Is when your first pick in the draft was Batman '89. I was like, damn me. That's the one I wanted. I wasn't going to pick it first, but it was one of those movies where I was like, that is a foundational stone.
Yep.
That is a foundational stone of superhero movies.
I was like right out the bat, and I was just like, if I'm getting first spot, I'm going big. Going for
Keaton
one of
Batman,
the big
ones. You're not going to hear me complain.
Tough, and I'm excited to see Keaton in this new Batman. I'm hoping, like in the Flash movie as Batman again.
It's the reason why I'm going to see the Flash movie. I don't care about Ezra Miller's Flash.
Oh, you are a big Ezra Miller fan. I believe we have 8 years worth of podcasting here to prove.
Well, he is an Ashkenazi Jew, so yes, I am a big fan of his.
And a bit of a troublemaker.
Me being whatever amount of Jewishness I have in me, it's a little. I just don't know how much.
And you two have taken people at knife point from time to time. We all know that.
we both started cults.
It happens. You just do what
Listen,
you do.
sometimes you get bored and you learn a hobby, like how to build out your own cult. Cool.
I did find years later, my ex-wife and I went to high school together, and
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
Yeah. We had mutual friends, but never really each other or anything. But a person that we mutually went to high school with and everything and knew very well, there was this Reddit thing that had this entire cult thing that he had started, and like this girl's like report of her like getting out of this cult that he started.
Wow, and that guy's name was Jim Baker.
It was Joel, but yeah, he was like, imagine Jim Baker, but like a really like a worse Marilyn Manson version.
Oh boy, that's awful.
Yeah, that's about as
it's
bad
like the rock star in Turbulence 3.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything about Turbulence 3?
No.
Just Slade Drake or something like that, and it's clearly just a Marilyn Manson like knockoff. It's just straight direct to video garbage, and it's great and hilarious.
So ultimately what we're saying is go to patreon.com/HMP and support this show, vote on the things, get the Dinger Zone, all that kind of good stuff. We appreciate all of you guys and all of your amazing stuff. And if you want to plug something that you guys do, and I know a lot of our guys do have podcasts, and the like, let us know.
Let us know.
I always want to plug you guys and stuff as well, but I want to make sure that you want to be shouted out. Just as like the tax man's not coming after you. You know what I'm saying?
Or like I can't even remember the last time I was on somebody else's podcast. Like that'd be cool. Like ask me. I don't know if I'm going to be available, but like ask me.
I'll say no 5 times over, but I at least like to know that the gal would be.
I would like to. It's just I mean, you know what my schedule is like. It's
we're
insane.
All wild and crazy kids every now and then. It's cool. Patreon.com/HB. And if you can't do that, at least drop on down to the iTunes. Give us a 5-star review, aka Humdinger.
Humdinger.
Been a while since we got one of them. Just saying. Somebody steal your mama's phone. We know how that works over here.
Been a bit.
Let's get into it. Here's the trailer. Now, I'm going to tell you right in advance, I don't know if I'm going to have the time or energy to edit this trailer. I'm going to try to remember to do it. If I don't, just get your kids out of the house right now while this is going on, because I don't.
Maybe you don't run the trailer then if there's that concern.
Nah,
it's better to not have it.
We're gonna see if I edit it. We're gonna see if I edit this. Here's the trailer.
You know that you're not going to.
Oh, we'll see.
Holy shit, do I love Valentine's Day? Not only is it the gushiest, mushiest, most romantic day of the year, but for 24 hours, you have a bulletproof excuse for doing cheese shit for your partner. What's not to love about Valentine's Day?
Just as long as it's low-key.
Uh-huh.
You have to help me! Men are from Mars, women Venus. Let me guess, you want to have a bigger right? Well...
I got that flavor! Who is pumped for the best DD ever?
I saw her cool, dead eyes from across the room. Dark side is in love.
I got a wild streak, everybody tells me. Yeah, I'm a good freak, so thank you, please, Benji. Whoa. What the hell? They're doing it in the street like animals.
Harley.
Oh, you can't possibly be mad at me for getting you off too good. That is not a thing.
Man, you got a point.
It's not a game, why you trying to play me?
Alrighty, that was a trailer for the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special. Thank you, HBO, for cutting an actual trailer. That, like, I don't know, it's just kind of cool of you. It makes this show a lot easier, except for the part that I have to edit out. But I will edit that out. You'll have heard beeps in there, not different noises, because I'm not doing all that. That's way too much work. But you know what time it is.
It's time for Bruce's Comic Book Connection.
Well, surely Bruce has something for us this week. Well, anywho, If that wasn't enough, let me sell everybody on this animated Valentine's Day special, because this sucker's got everything. Lock the kids away, Janet, because this might be animated, but it is not for the kiddies. This has been your warning. You've got Harley Quinn. You've got Poison Ivy. You've got Clayface and Bane and Adam Fastball, if there ever was one. Talking to the camera couples, we've got love potions, rhyming salesmen, talking with your own butt, S&M date night, vines galore, strategic smoke, getting it on, horizontal mambo, going downtown, and so big it makes their laser eyes. Come on. Ain't nobody ever given you laser eyes. Ever. Growing to the size of a skyscraper and banging the crap out of every building in town. Wild language, no real nudity. But you forget Kelly Cuckoo, or however you say it. Look, my name's Portress, I understand. It shows us that she's not just that big bang girl anymore. This show's got everything. And did I, Sean? I think I killed Sean.
I just got back. Sorry.
Okay, good.
Sorry about that.
This show has everything.
Yes, it does. I'm guessing we don't have Bruce's.
There was not a Bruce comic connection. No, I like that was a fun joke where I just kind of let the air out for about a couple of seconds, and I was just like, I'm going to go into my thing, and like I didn't hear your response. I'm like, he's got to be just taking a quick one, and so that's
I
fun.
did. I was.
This show's got everything.
Here's my secret. I'm going to let everybody behind the curtain.
Oh, we already. I know this. I just know.
Usually when all this is going down is when I hit the bathroom, make another cup of coffee, and run back down. and I usually
smoke
make
break.
it. I've lit no smoke break, and I usually make it every time.
Yeah, it's yeah. I could listen.
Not this time.
Not this time. This was a short one, and I just kind of I went really fast, and my list was rather short as well because it's been a wild week. What did you think about? Now we watched the at least one or two episodes of this.
We watched two episodes. It was the season 1, episode 1 and 2 of Harley Quinn, and because DC, for me anyway, DC is such a crapshoot with like if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get some things where it's like, well, that's really great. And sometimes you get something from them where you're like, well, I could go the rest of my life without seeing this. Like, this is straight garbage.
Why is this a thing that you thought anyone would be interested in? Because it's not.
Right. And Harley Quinn is the first of these where it's a well done show. The tone of the show is exact. Like, exactly what you're getting into with the show, which makes it unique, right? It's a very unique show. It's at least for American audiences. American animated doesn't usually have the F word in it.
No, not tons. Not unless you're on the expensive cable.
And so that's what makes it so interesting, and it's not at the level of something like, I know that it has its fans, but like I hated the Todd McFarlane Spawn. I thought that was straight garbage. That was like fake, like angry, dirty, gritty. Whereas like, this is not that. This is like this has a lighter tone, which it totally needs, and it's fun to watch.
But you know what it could use though? It could use a Todd McFarlane intro.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Let me tell you something, kid. This girl, she's wild. She is a wild, crazy character, and she's got a lot of moxie.
I'm Canadian, and I have a bit of a lisp.
Oh,
So when we first watched episode 1 and 2 of this, it was a joy to watch. It was like, oh, this is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like this doesn't feel like a job watching this show, and. So when you guys were like, let's see the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special, I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. And, like it's not something that I would go to. Like, I don't know if I would ever watch the show if we didn't have the show, but I do recognize that this show has fans for a good reason. It's a well-made show. It's not my jam, but I totally get why people like the show.
I think I ended up watching most of, if not all of, the first season. I think I watched all of the first season and enjoyed it. I thought it was like, the first like episode or two, especially the first episode. The first episode starts out a little bit wonky because it feels like they're trying to get their footing and they want to get a couple of expletives right out of the way, almost a little bit too much to where you're like, okay, what is this?
Right. There is a bit of shock and awe that happens with the show, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Once they settle in, it's not so bad. This episode, like every now and then, it feels a little bit forced.
If I were a 16-year-old boy, I would wonder why this is not a bigger hit. Like, it's the sensibility, it's your comedy sensibility. It's shocking. It's awesome. Like it has all of those benchmarks for something that a 16-year-old boy, it's got some lesbianism in it. Like, it's all of the things that a 16-year-old boy would enjoy. It's also a very progressive thinking show, which is fine. Like I think that they push a little hard on that.
It's a little
into things.
Can I ask you this because it struck me as odd because we get a couple of like of the couple interviews and stuff like that, right? Where we have superhero like a Superman and Lois, and they're talking about how they met, or Hawkman and Hawkwoman. They're talking about their history of reincarnation, all that kind of stuff, and it's cutesy.
Yeah. Well, it's the When Harry Met Sally thing.
Yeah. But for the most part, the regular the superheroes were pretty much, again, mostly all. There's an exception or two here, but mostly all straight, and all the villains gay. It's just I don't know.
I didn't put that together before.
Except for like maybe Darkseid, but that's also kind of a different. That's also a different joke that I don't really understand who this woman is. Who's that supposed to be?
Yeah, I think that's clearly supposed to be someone like a celebrity.
Is that a famous person? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I'm just like, is what?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a celebrity, but I don't know which celebrity it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the cast on IMDb, it doesn't say who the person is.
It doesn't say anything either, though. That's the thing. So there's no reason to put a cast member there because no words were uttered.
Right.
She just looks at the camera. Darkseid's the one doing all the talking. So I don't know. But I just found that curious. It's just like, because if you look at even the ones that aren't even in the couples thing, Riddler gay, all the villains gay. I don't know. I found it interesting. Curious.
Yeah, it is. It's a choice for sure. I'm not sure what they're trying to say there, quite honestly. But I know that when DC in the 90s, when they would introduce gay characters, they would only introduce the villains as gay. It was never the heroes. It took a while for that to happen. And then like Pied Piper and Flash was gay, who had changed to a good guy. So I don't know what they're trying to say.
Oh, but, man, with a name like Pied Piper, you know.
So what this show has in its corner is it's got some pretty great animation. I think the animation is solid on the show. It doesn't look like they're cutting many corners.
No, it doesn't look like a show because not for nothing, and to take away from those shows because they're a different beast altogether. But like an Adult Swim type show where they're using the same backgrounds and stuff all the time, the same kind of limited animation. No, they're going out. We've got wild set pieces here, characters growing and shrinking beyond all of their size. Like this show, especially this particular episode, is a lot of bloody work.
It is. And I think, even looking at something like a show that I like Invincible at times looks very cheap.
Oh, yeah.
And this show does not. Not a single time do I watch this show and be like, man, you guys could have spent a little more time on that. Which tells me that, the people behind the scenes at DC, it seems like it's still the same mindset that was going on in the 90s with Batman, the animated series, where nothing was cheap on that show, and it feels like this is the progenitor. Is that the right word? Like it's standing on the shoulders of Batman, the animated series.
I think it's I don't know. I'm not a smart man.
This show is clearly standing on the shoulders of Batman the Animated Series, and that's fine. And they embrace it instead of trying to run away from it. And I think that that's great. But the other real strength of the show is the voice talent. You know, like Kaylee Cuoco.
Very good.
And,
we're counting that one, and I'm gonna say what Sean said after that, just on account of.
So Kaylee Cuoco and, you know, Lake Bell, who has done so much voiceover work. She made a movie about it, a documentary about it.
Who, by the way, I like Lake Bell a whole bunch, but like I don't particularly like her in this role. I don't like what she's doing.
That is the thing with Lake Bell, right? So when she's good, she's great in a thing, but your mileage is going to vary on which part she's in. Like whenever there's some TV shows where I see her sometimes and I'm like, she's not right for that. But other parts I'm like, oh, she's perfect. I have no problem with her as the voice of Poison Ivy. I think that it's a nice balance between her and Harley, like because Harley is, you know, just so pinball.
Yeah, and I know she's got to play it down a little bit to have that contrast, and that's nice and everything. But sometimes, like, it feels like it's almost too cold, and like there's just nothing in there. And I know that's like a bit of the character or whatever, but like, I don't know, just it would connect me a little bit more to a character if I felt a little bit more. But I know that's kind of, they're like, oh, she's cold and distant. I don't know.
Yes, and you know, like she doesn't get along with humans so much. She gets along better with the plants. Like it makes sense that she would be that way.
Are you like I am, and I see so many of the things that they're doing that involve like plants and other crap, and I'm just like, she'd be way more mad at so much more stuff. Like there's so many things that are like her animal byproducts and her there's so much things where like you're like looking at what she's doing and what she's wearing, you're like, this is bullcrap. She's probably wearing like 6 animal things right there.
Of course that's and but I mean, you know, you've got to have a conceit somewhere with that character, and that's where they're gonna have it for her.
What about cotton clothes? I didn't even think about that. Can she activate clothes? You know, on account of the cotton. I swear to God, I just thought this up. I
would think it's all natural material. I would guess.
It's radon. I can't do anything. No.
You know, I can't use moisture wicking.
Nope.
You know, but you know, even with something like casting Alan Tudyk as the voice of Clayface, like. That seems like an easy layup to me. Like that, yes, that is exactly who should be playing the voice of Two-Face.
We need you to play this over-the-top thespian who is absolutely in love with himself. And I love this plot line of this. This was one of my favorite parts of this whole thing. Getting chopped in half, like looking for the perfect date. Like he's like, I'm going out, I'm trying to find something, anything. Gets beat up, chopped in half, and then finds the person he's been looking for all along, himself in the reflection of his own talking butt, complete with eyes and teeth.
So good. So good.
And it's like, we know everything. Like, he knows everything. We're the perfect person for each other.
But I think that we can all agree that the person having the most fun on this show is somebody that I had never heard of, and I looked him up while I was watching the show. The voice of Bane, James Adomian.
James Adomian. That's how you pronounce that.
Adomian. That guy is having the greatest time playing Bane, and I don't fault him for it. What a fun thing to do, and just the inflections and the different reads, and like. You know, he does a great Bane voice. It's all so wonderful. It's so great.
Tom Hardy's just got to be sitting at home just going like, I guess this is a very good compliment, isn't it?
Well, but that's the other thing too, right? Is that like he nailed it. Tom Hardy nails it with Bane's voice. But ever since then, he's trying to do it with everything he does, like not a Bane voice, but like crazy voice guy.
Let me get something very specific that people will just kind of glom onto and sit. Like Christian Bale's got the weight loss thing and weight gain and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I can be the voice guy.
Yeah, you know, Johnny Depp's got the dumb hat thing.
Yeah, a lot of
does in every
scarves.
movie. a lot of scarves. I'll be the crazy voice guy in every role I'm in.
Well,
And
listen, not for nothing, Benicio del Toro's been doing that for about 25 years now.
What? Yeah, his weird ticks and stuff. Hey, man, just play a character.
Like, what the hell's going on here?
I mean, even in that Star Wars movie, he's like,
He's just
like, what are we doing?
he's
What
go
are we
all
doing?
over the place. You just like, and somebody just goes, "We're hiring him." What? I love the guy. I kind of crap on him a little bit, but I do enjoy him.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I do. It's just, I mean,
He's kind of an odd duck. That's all.
And then you have like people like coming in off the top rope, like Michael Ironside is Dark Side. Come on, man. Come on, that's amazing. And you got John Stamos playing Etrigan the Demon. Come on.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and like that's to me that is the one thing that definitely comes out in this show is that they're having fun actually writing this. This does not feel like this is a chore for these people of like, oh, we're on. I think they're on their third season. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, this is the third season. This is the finale for their third season.
That
the
they'd
Valentine's
be,
Day special.
you'd be maybe a little bit jaded at this point or everything. Like, but no, they're going big and bold and like this is a 44-minute special. I don't know what their normal shows run. They're probably like 22 minutes regular. Yeah.
I would guess. I mean, I don't know.
If memory serves from when I, watched that first season or whatever, I feel like those.
But with streaming, none of that even matters.
Oh, and that's the best part, though, is that you don't have to worry about.
Agreed.
That.
Agreed.
But again, this also, even though at 44 minutes, felt the appropriate length. Had it been much more longer, I think I would have been mad. It could have been shorter, but it definitely shouldn't have been longer.
Yes. And let's talk about the elephant in the room that we haven't discussed yet.
Okay.
Which is that this show is absolutely on the chopping block with James Gunn taking over.
You think this is though? Really?
I do. Although this is his comedic sensibility. This is what he finds funny. Show.
It falls in line. It feels like it passes the Gunn smell test, if you will.
It feels like it's what he even wrote, like in the past. This feels like something he would have written.
Or certainly could have written on for sure.
But at issue is that you have a character that they're clearly going to keep going forward on. She still wants to do the character, and James Gunn's going to want to put her into movies because she is such a popular character, and he wants to streamline all this stuff and make them all the same.
Oh,
right?
yes. So what you're saying essentially, because just to remind people, because he kind of talked about this, but I don't know how much everyone else has kind of talked about it, but wanted to kind of have the people that were in the cartoons and stuff, the people that are voicing those characters also then go to those characters in live action should indeed those cartoons be
right. TVs, movies, video games, like it's all going to be the same people playing these people.
Which is a bold move, Cotton. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, that's right. Check out the Ocho. So, it makes me wonder if this show is going to continue. And I know that because it really has that Gunn sensibility, this show. Mm-hmm. And I know that people love this show. But are people going to riot in the streets if there's not a season 4?
I'm trying to think of the last time I walked around the mall and you see the crap in the stores and people with shirts and stuff like that. I'm trying to think if I ever really saw one that's specific to the show or anything, and nothing really pops out in my brain. Not to say that I'm at the mall all the time, but
I mean, there's people who love Harley Quinn.
There.
There's people who love Harley Quinn, and those folks they probably like this version of her, but she's not nearly as popular as the movie version of Harley.
No, not at all. But at the same time too, I think that she brings enough interesting, cool stuff to this character, and she's got a stupid cartoon voice about her, and I mean that in the best of ways.
She does. It is definitely a cartoony voice.
It is like just that perfect kind of wild cartoon voice that character's very specifically kind of needs.
Yeah, I mean, and it works perfectly for the show. I think I've tipped my hand to how I feel about the show. Like, the show is totally cool. Like, I think this is a cool show. this just isn't something that is we're like, oh, you know what, I've got 2 hours. I'll watch a couple of episodes of Harley Quinn. Like, it's not that kind of show for me. Although it's not destination viewing. It's also not something where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we got to watch this. Like, if you were to say to me, hey, we're going to go see a Fast and the Furious movie, you would have to knock me out like I'm BA from the A-Team to get me to the theater.
Oh, wouldn't that be the best? We knock him out. He wakes up in the theater. Not only is he watching Fast and the Furious, we've also dressed him up as Mr. T. And
you better have gotten me that van. Then I wouldn't be so mad.
Hey, listen. Okay, here's the thing. We kidnap. We knock you out. We kidnap you. We dress you up as Mr. T. You awaken as Mr. T. But watching the Fast and the Furious movie, and you have to watch. You're chained in. You're gold chained into your seat, so you can't get out of there. But after you leave the theater and we go to the parking lot, and you're still going, why am I wearing this Mr. T crap? This is a bunch of bull. You see the A-Team van. Does it make watching the Fast and the Furious worth it?
Yes.
That's good. It's good. All
yes.
right.
I didn't even have to think about it because that van's amazing. It's like the coolest type of that van, the serial killer van thing.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Conversion van. Like, that's the best version of that van that's ever been made. And if I were to see one, I would get I would get more excited to see one of those in real life than I would even the Ghostbusters car. Because Ghostbusters has completely been beaten to death by Hollywood at this point. So like I have no like love for the Echo One anymore. But like that A-Team van, you don't see that around very much.
No.
And even though Hollywood tried to beat that into the ground, they did such a piss poor job on the movie that people were like, no, thank you.
Never again shall we ever. But I will say this, come September, watch around the Atlanta area. You won't I can't speak for the A-Team, but one that will probably give you that feeling inside that you're like, whoa, what in the world is going on here? And he tools around there every Labor Day weekend, the Mach 5.
Oh, that's cool.
There is a good-looking Mach 5 that is roadworthy and is out there driving around Atlanta on Labor Day weekend. So, or Labor Day, whatever that September date is. It's good stuff. So, I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that we could kidnap you, and now we have good reason to do so. Go ahead.
It's Labor Day in September.
Labor Day. There you go. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I mean, again, to get back to the show, like, I didn't even know that was John Stamos until I was looking up the cast list.
I didn't tell you just said it.
And I was like, of course that's John Stamos. Like, that's the kind of show this is, where it's like, hey, we want to work with that person. Let's bring him in. You know what I mean?
And he seems like a nice enough bloke that he just do it because he think it's funny.
Yes. And and also it's a cool character. I mean, Edric and the Demon's cool. But I like that they also, even though they changed the way some of these characters are portrayed, the spirit of the character is still there. Like, Edric and the Demon, yeah, he's going to put on a light show for Harley Quinn, but he's still speaking in rhymes.
Yeah.
That's neat.
I love the rhymes. It's a lot of fun. And they're so well written that and delivered that it is like actual just dialogue. So it's not like I'm doing this and that and do boobadoo boobadoo. It's none of that. It's like it actually just straight rhymes to when you just go like, oh shoot, that sentence rhymed, and it's done really well, not corny at all.
It's true,
but yet while being wildly corny at the exact same time.
And yes, and let's talk about the biggest joke in this entire episode, which is that Clayface has tickets to Brett Goldstein.
Yes.
and when you have Brett Goldstein in your show as a character, you got to call Brett Goldstein and go, hey, you want to play you in this show?
I believe I've got a right to do that. I can plan it well. Right.
And Brett Goldstein is going to say yes. And so he did. And so he's voicing himself in this cartoon. And it is wonderful. It is like an ironic black hole has opened up over this television show, and Brett Goldstein fell out. Like, it's pretty great.
And
I know that you don't. I know that you don't watch. You don't watch Ted Lasso.
No. That's Mr. Bruce Leslie.
Leslie doesn't watch.
I'm an avid fan, as a matter of fact.
That comes out next week.
I
the
know.
new season,
I
and I
know.
am excited.
But here's what I'm wild about on this, and something that kind of blew me away. That's an Apple Plus show.
Yeah.
I can't believe that old HBO doesn't have their own finger up their butt so high that they have to use their own show and just be like, oh, here's someone from Westworld or some crap. But they don't. They have the nerve and the gumption to go outside and say, hey, look, that's a thing that is popular over there. We're big enough to say that. That's pretty good.
I don't think that it was up to HBO. I think that the creators of this show are basically on an island, right? They kind of get to do whatever they want. HBO probably, Warner Brothers probably says to them, hey, steer clear of this character, steer clear of this IP, but anything else, just go hog wild. We don't care. Do whatever you want. And so they do, as long as there's a certain reverence towards the stuff. Reverence is the wrong word. As long as you're not abusing the IP.
I was about to say, Brett Goldstein grows to be about 58 feet tall.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is that wasn't up to HBO Max. That was the creators doing that, and then they said, hey, we're doing this, and we're using Brett Goldstein, and HBO Max was like, okay. Because I guarantee you that if they had a stronger hand in this, they would have wanted to use someone from like House of the Dragon or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was. I was surprised. I would have been like, oh, they put Matt Smith in here or something. I don't know, just something that's not whatever.
Right, and they didn't, which makes it funnier. And something that this show does that I haven't seen in a very long time when it comes to American comedy is its randomness. Like random non sequitur comedy.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of that in this show, and you don't see that very often anymore because it got totally unfashionable to tell those jokes, and it seems to have come back in this show, which is great.
Yeah, and there's even with those other things, there was just it's a different type of timing with a lot of the jokes and stuff too that you wouldn't normally see in animated shows, at least not
right,
not like this,
right? There's character beats, and there's face acting happening on this show.
That's another thing that and again, I know it was supposed to be emotionless, but I'm like Harley Quinn's face is moving so much, and Ivy is just so stone cold, and I'm just like, God, I feel like they're not I know it's part of it, but it feels like you're cheating out on this animation, guys. Animate her face a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Just make me feel like the character. There's something behind the character instead of like the old, those the really old speed racers or whatever, where the mouth is the only thing that is rolling and everything else.
Yeah. Or what's that show that Tarantino references in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Cargo Clutch, is that the name? I think it is Cargo Clutch.
Something with that mouth cut out and everything.
Yeah, just the mouth with still animation,
which is always one of my favorite Conan bits. All of those interviews and stuff. They would just my producer, because I was working overnights watching Conan every single night. 1 o'clock in the morning, and I am just like howling laughing, and I'd get a little ping top line, are you okay? Because it was just so flippin' funny. No one else was there, so you could just laugh and be an idiot as loud as you wanted to, and there's no work to be done, so you're literally getting paid to watch television. What good times that was. Where was I going with this? I just wanted to have fun with that.
I don't know. We were talking about the voice talent. We were talking about the animation that the characters are actually acting.
Yeah, and that's my biggest gripe is just with the Poison Ivy character and how it's kind of portrayed. But that's what they're going for, so I just kind of have to shut up and take it. If you were to tell me, before I'd ever watched an episode of Harley Quinn, if you were to tell me, in season 3 on the Valentine's Day episode of Harley Quinn, Bane grows to Godzilla size and how do I put it clean, has his way with the Wayne building with a lot of things,
It is, but the Wayne building in particular was the one where I was like, oh wow, they really are. they're really going into this.
It's wanton destruction.
I can't help myself. Like, it's just so great.
But the best part is I love because you know it's gonna come back. It's like it's classic comedy writing, which I love. He's got the thing, and he goes, "Here's all the directions," and he goes, "Here are the warnings. Don't do this, whatever the hell." And you know, there's one more left that he has not yet read.
Yes, unless you're using HGH.
He goes, "Oh no, that's all I use."
Oh no.
And then grows to this giant size. It's so much. But at the same time, too, did you also think that 10 minutes before that that Bane would be in an S&M's dungeon situation?
Definitely not.
Making a love connection, no less. To which at the end he picks him up Kong style and takes him off. What's gonna happen? Nothing good, I can tell you that. It's so stupid, but like, again, I think that's what absolutely works with this show. I wish there were some of the other characters, because like I do miss them kind of not being here. Like your King Ron Funches' King Shark's just my favorite. I don't know.
I remember you guys saying. I remember you guys saying during our episode of that review that I should keep watching because King Shark is the funniest part of the show.
He's just he's a blast, that guy. And the little guy too. I forgot what his name was. He was, he's a pain in the butt, but like that's why you like him. You like him because he's that turd character that everybody kind of craps on. You know, you gotta have that one character who's just like, oh yeah, he's a piece of garbage, and we all just poop on him every episode, and that's what you do to that guy. But I get it. You got to have a guy singing to his own butt and everything. But
yes.
And then just get stomped back together, just as intended. But it's the saddest thing in the world too. I thought that was great. Well, let's get down to it. Before we get to our review, though, or final review, we have to ask ourselves one very important question: is how this animated DC special, Valentine's Day special, no less, relates back 1-to-1 with Sylvester Stallone.
Thank you, Adam. I have a prepared statement.
Ooh.
Hello, Mr. Stallone. Here we are again, me speaking into the void, hoping you hear the work being done in your name. This week's Stallone Connection is the voice of Darkseid in this episode, Michael Ironside, who I believe we've spoken about before, but the truth is I don't remember, and I'm unwilling to look it up. He did some time as a guest spot on the show This Is Us, as did you, and that's why he's the Stallone Connection this week. But what I'd really like to talk about is another show that Michael Ironside guest spotted on, and that's the show The Littlest Hobo. What? As an American with a taste for strange media, I've always been fascinated by this show. The Littlest Hobo was produced, shot, and aired entirely in Canada from 1978 to 1985, and it is a wonderful snapshot of what the people and places of Canada looked like at the time, which is to say, amazing. It's not an easy watch these days, but it is fun if you're looking to watch something that feels like it was made by people who know how to make a TV show, but aren't sure how it's supposed to look, and they just don't quite nail it. But here's the thing about The Littlest Hobo, Mr. Stallone. The people who love this show will not hear your snarky, ironic comments about it. They love it so hard, it's like they own a back-end stake in The Littlest Hobo. For those unfamiliar with the show, it's about a German shepherd named London that wanders from town to town, helping people who are down on their luck or find themselves in a big scrape, and the only thing that can help them is a homeless dog. As I've said previously, the people who love the show love it so hard, it's like listening to boomers talk about music. But don't take my word for it. Let's head on over to the IMDb user reviews to give you a brief glimpse at the insanity that hobo heads feel for the show. This review is entitled In Defense of London, and it was written in 1999 by someone who calls themselves TV Key. And they wrote, I'm quoting, about the only popularly negative comment on this television show that I will accept is that because it was produced on video rather than film, it lacks crispness, and depth of color. I cannot and will not agree with people's sweeping, cynical put downs of every other aspect of this production. The storytelling may be formulaic, but there is enough flexibility in the formula for the show to vary its episodes. Some are about crime fighting. Others concern rescue of people in perilous situations. And still others deal with solving interpersonal problems, finding lost items or animals, etc. The acting is fairly often admirable, mainly by the primary guest stars of the episode. And there are quite a few well-known and respected actors and actresses in guest starring roles. Camera work is often inventive. Music is appropriate to the action, and episodes are quite quick-paced. For the television show shot on video in Canada, it holds up quite well. And there is a timelessness to its concept. Finally, with a charismatic canine star, it is innocent, wholesome family entertainment. There does not seem to be much of that on television anymore. 9 out of 10 stars.
Yeah.
I forgot just how long IMDb has been around. This review is almost 25 years old. And I'm
Wow.
sure that the reviewer is glad that their opinion is still known today, especially in the age of shows like MILF Manor and Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Those are two real shows. We live in a time where there's a show on TV called MILF Manor.
A golden
But
age
to-
of television, they said.
What a time to be alive. Am I right, TV Key? And in case you're wondering, some of the guest stars on The Littlest Hobo were Mike Myers, Leslie Nielsen, Clarence Williams III, and of course, Michael Ironside. If I had my way, I would turn this podcast into a show that only reviews episodes of The Littlest Hobo, and I'd call the show The Littlest Podcast. Each week, we'd review episodes in sequential order, and we break down episodes into a tiered system, which, of course, the Mike Myers episode entitled Boy on Wheels would be at the top of the list due to star power alone. If you've ever wondered what a 1979 Mike Myers looked like, Mr. Stallone, worry no longer. His character work was incredible, even back then. And that's your Stallone connection this week. Character actor and proud Canadian Michael Ironside. I'll talk to you again next week. Your pal, Sweet Shawnsy from the internet.
Well, I mean, Mike Myers is 60 now, and he still looks like he's a child. So,
Oh man, he's
he
put
does.
put on some heat.
Oh, I know.
He put on a little bit of age, that fella.
yeah, oh, I know. I say that, but yeah, it took a while. It took a while, and then it hit like a brick right over there.
I just watched this episode. I just watched this episode of The Littlest Hobo today because I couldn't believe that he was on the show. And you know, he's probably like 12 years old, wearing the shortest shorts that someone has ever worn in their life, and he's throwing around a frisbee. He's got a friend who's in a wheelchair. It's amazing.
Super hard Canadian.
He is a little. He's a little Canadian. He's not as Canadian as you want him to be on the show.
Shucks.
Like he is a little bit like that. His old voice is there a little bit,
Mhm.
but like it's not as hard as I wanted to hear it.
Yeah. Well, we can always hope for the DVD, the Blu-ray transfer. Hopefully, that's going to be coming around the corner.
Well, I watched that episode on YouTube.
Kino Lorber going to be having a Blu-ray set coming up soon. Sure. All right,
Man,
let's get
you
down.
are a completist.
Let's get to it. We got to find out how this what am I calling this? The Stallone connection. Time for the Stallone connection, everybody. No, we did that. I'm sorry.
No, we just did that.
Robin
sir.
rating. I got to scroll to the next thing. I'm out of my brain. Robin rating. What do you put this? I'm going to you first because I'm stupid.
Yeah, you're not stupid. You're just tongue-tied right now. I think that this might be a very middle of the road Damian Wayne for me. Like it's like smack down the middle Damian Wayne. And the reason why that is because it's a good show. It's just not my jam. But if I were a 16-year-old boy, this would be the coolest cartoon on TV. But I'm not 16. So it's a literally down the middle Damian Wayne.
For me, I'm just gonna go. It's a good solid Tim Drake. I enjoy this. It's just it's silly fun that is just I don't know. It's what I'm kind of looking for, and it was 44 minutes of like it's stupid juvenile but fun. Listen, I can turn my brain off and have that. You know, I don't need to be high fluting all the time. I can enjoy a Wang joke here or there. It's
Sure.
fun. It's fun
Yeah.
and entertaining for everybody.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
like you said, when the animation style, when it feels like the creators behind this are putting enough care and love into it that you can feel that coming off the screen, it makes all the difference in the world. If this was a, one of those early DC Direct things that, we kind of looked at and stuff, it's just like you wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. But this is fun and interesting and entertaining. And like you said, especially if it's going to be your bag, you're going to enjoy the heck out of this thing. So
it's
recommend.
it's made by talented people doing good work. I mean, that's the best way I could describe the show.
And Bruce said that he hated it. He thought it was the worst ever, and that one of the biggest mistakes he's ever made was actually choosing this, and that's why he refused to show today. Actually,
he did, and he told me, you know what? I don't have anything negative. Like I wanted to go after something, and I'm like, what am I going to go after? Like
I don't really hate him at all. Oh,
I don't have anything. Like the one thing I'm like, man, his jokes are just so awful.
But he knows that.
But he knows that they're awful.
In fact, that's his stock and trade. He wants you to know.
It is.
But it's okay.
Yeah. Like everything else about that guy's great.
But that will do it for this episode of Hero Movie Podcast, everybody. We'll talk about what we're doing next week in just a moment. Sean, oh my goodness, could there be anything else on the internet this week outside of this show that's worth people checking out?
Nope.
Oh, well. You can see me and Bruce on an episode of the All-American Spook Show podcast. It's on their YouTube page. Go check that out. We did a big live stream and everything a couple nights ago where we run down the Fangoria Chainsaw Award nominees and put our votes in the basket and everything. That's
neat.
Hilarious, fun time and everything. So go check out the All-American Spook Show YouTube page and check out our fun little live show that Bruce and I did. It was a good time.
That is cool.
Oh, we got some show called The Mandalorian coming up. So there's this Mandalorian 30 question show. You might want to check that out as well. That's a big thing. It's got a lot of
I cannot
stuff.
I cannot wait to get to that show. I cannot wait to get to that show.
So we can't wait, and we know you can't wait any further. So we'll talk about that next week. But Sean, this next week we're also going to be talking about Shazam, but not that Shazam. We're not waiting for the movies just yet. We didn't get some kind of sneak preview. We aren't that good. We aren't that big yet. I don't know why. We should be, but we're not. We're going to watch a couple of the Shazam serials again. We watched a couple of years back.
Well, it's not the serials. It's the ones from the 70s.
Oh, this is the 70s one. Because I forget
it's the one where they drive around in a van.
We're going to find out exactly what those are. We'll put it up on the Facebook page once we nail down exactly which nonsense that we're watching. But it's Shazam. We want to watch a crappy Shazam. And
Shazam
then go into
1974. We're going to watch episodes 3 and 4.
There you go.
And it is. I treasure that show because it is, again, it's just a perfect snapshot of America at the time, and what a joy to watch.
So we will be doing all of that next week. That is it, everybody. Join us next week for that 1971 Shazam TV show. For 74, pardon me. For Sweet Sounds and Kovacs from the internet and the absent Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Portress. Stay super, everybody.
Bye, Marty and Evie.